doing that.
Are you're on Teams too, yeah. I put you in the wrong meeting, sorry.
Yes, both the AV capture and the Teams.
Yeah, I've got a special ones on Teams set for Curtis. And I clicked into the wrong one, so I joined into yours and then it like.
That's all.
Here we go. Hey Curtis, sorry about that. I'm just getting set up. There we go. Did you get your message?
It disappeared. What did it say?
Start your camera.
How do I do that?
I think you can start recording. Okay, Curtis, can you talk so I can bring the volume up? Yep, okay, you're all the way up.
Oh, yeah.
Girl, can you see everyone okay? This is gonna be the pen. Perfect. It's plugged in and batteries in. Why is that power cable not working?
I mean, it's first.
Oh,
She gave me.
Does you want me to plug that in right there?
I don't know that this will work right there. Well, we can try, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you, John. Were you? Just have to.
Things not open.
I think we have to use keys to.
To pop that open.
Yeah. Yeah, be careful, use a key. Oh, yeah, there we go. Let's go.
Someone here has a government, you know it. What a pop open one.
I'm all right. Is everything looking okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can just minimize the team.
Break the tip off. Already got my hand in front.
What do you need?
No, you got it open.
All right, let's hope that works.
And perfect. Ta-da. Yeah, and when it's in search things, we can go ahead and move them right up. To the. Okay. Yeah. Can you see? Yeah.
Yeah, you there?
The thing, they're lost.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I would be too.
can't be fixed.
So using.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'll take notes.
The resolution.
Okay, thank you.
I got it.
Yeah, you're gonna put it in the current packet too.
Yeah.
You okay?
I'm down. Well, this is beautiful. This one.
Cindy, are there pens over there?
Yeah.
I know when you're on it. I think I could go last one, the other meeting, so I was like, oh, 'cause I forgot Bridget. Yeah, he would be one of these. Getting my cord. Did you guys have any studying questions while we're studying things?
Um, The fire and security. That is. That was shot. Yes. And why? Yeah, it doesn't look. 20 years is currently out, right?
Pioneer, she's worked with Pioneer, right?
Yes.
That's our current,
That's what I
yeah,
That's the
thought,
current one.
yeah,
but our,
but
it's,
it's not working.
we listen to beep all day.
So
For 3 weeks.
Yeah. So we've got to get something.
I think.
Has it been longer?
We've been having.
Yeah.
They don't. What was that? Oh.
Where are my previous jobs?
Well, that's, I know that we've earmarked 250 for water filtration, but we're not to filtration. So I think I would recommend that we utilize that to bring the rest of our projects to completion. And to fix some of these security issues that we have. So,
That we had earmarked 600,000 plus 125,000 COVID money for filtration.
that's what I'm saying, we should, for filtration, we're not to filtration, and we need to figure out what's wrong with our system before we get there, and that's.
So we'll
step
continue
one.
to drink brown water.
So filtration are the results. We need to find out exactly what's going on with our system instead of creating what we think is wrong with it. We know that it's high in iron and magnesium.
Right. Again,
Right, sorry, thank you. There are other things going on too. So the rate study is gonna tell us what we need to do, how much it's gonna cost, all that good stuff. And then we can come up with a plan of how we're gonna work through getting these reservoir, the water tower, the fixing our water
but
issues.
we
all
did a
that.
pilot program for filtration system a few years back. That basically told us what kind of filtration system. we need.
For filtration,
Yeah,
but what about the other stuff? What about the bigger issues of it?
what bigger issues, I mean, other than the fact that we need to be putting the pump at well water. Because it's so old. And
There's the lack of a reservoir and.
yeah, and we're gonna need millions and millions of dollars to do.
Well, we've got a reservoir project.
Yeah,
That,
phase one of it, yeah.
well, and we need to take these baby steps first and start at one instead of putting the cart before the horse and jumping to a position that we're not prepared for yet.
So. For the next, 5 to 10 years, we're gonna be drinking brown water.
Not if we can figure out what's going on with our system and next session.
What's going on in our system, we already know we need a new reservoir because we need to supply more water and more pressure to, for instance, people on the hill and.
And the
both
project for the
sides.
reservoir is being presented to you this time.
And
So there's one. Then we need to look at water tower, and we need to look at the rate study, which, like I said, you guys have been provided all the details on what exactly that's going to give us. And it's a great starting point. I think just focusing on just filtration. That's not the only issue.
maybe not, but at least alleviates the problem of us
Hello,
giving bad water to our community.
filtering out the stuff instead of figuring out.
Well, it comes from the ground. There's no way to do anything except filter it out. It's manganese and iron comes from the ground.
It's true.
Subject against. System.
Pretty sure I already know the answer, but. Not having well. What's that?
He wants to know what we'll use $725,000 for.
So we didn't get the $250,000 grant. That grant that you were, I'm assuming you were talking about, you never clarified.
No, the grant that I wrote was for $525,000. And we were going to back it up with another $125,000 from the COVID grant. And we couldn't start the project because of the fact that if we started it, we would negate the grant. So it was written in the budget in 22 and 23 that $600,000 was set aside for filtration plus the $125,000 for the COVID grant. So since we didn't get the grant, and of course, when I talked to them, because I'm on their board, they said they never went out to the trailer courts and they didn't finish contacting all the people. But you and the treasurer agreed that we were medium to high income.
That's not what we, they
That's-
did go out
that's-
and they did survey and we sent out multiple and they sent us a letter
They told
stating that we are not. We don't meet the specification for the grant and I did provide that letter to you guys.
right, and when I talked to Stephanie, she said they hadn't gone out to the trailer courts. They went to some of the houses, but nobody answered the doors, so they weren't able to get any information. And they said they spoke to you and to the treasurer. And were told that you
Yeah.
agreed that we were medium to high.
We
Just
can't
get
like
something
that.
frozen.
That's what I was told at the board meeting that I went to.
We don't set that.
You may not said it, but you agreed to it, is what they said.
That's not what the letter
But
from them
but
says.
that's what she said to me at the board meeting. And that's when they gave that money to Habitat for Humanity.
Okay.
So my suggestion is that we've been drinking brown water for quite a few years, and I have been beating the same drum that we need to filter out that brown water. And so spending that money for other things,
We don't have all that money though. That was,
but
we
it was
didn't
set
get the
aside.
grant.
I know, but the city set aside $600,000 plus
Water.
to go to that grant, or not to the grant, but to the filtration. And $125,000 from the COVID grant, which the CPA, when we had our budget meeting, said that that would be earmarked for that
Water
specific filtration. So I'm saying that should have been that $725,000 for the filtration to get rid of that grant. Granted, we still have other issues, like we need a reservoir. We need to replace the pump at well 1. You know, we know all of those because that was from the last review even. But we, like you said, we have to take some steps and, you know,
First step for the benefit of the community is to get rid of brown water.
and they're saying, even though we meet the standards for manganese, manganese causes all kinds of health issues like Parkinson's, MS, learning disabilities for kids. And I'm saying we need to start the filtration grant. That alleviates or
Filtration program.
helps negate some of the problems that we currently have while we're trying to find the rest of the money to build a reservoir.
Build a reservoir, refit the reservoir
So,
we have, reline
yeah.
the reservoir we have, structural corrections to the reservoir we have. Look for another well site since all we're doing is renting a hole. And our priority is to get the water right for the community and people. That's what we've been working on.
I mean, that's 2 grants I've written just for that one alone. And
Twice.
I wrote a grant for the SCADA system. I mean, I've been writing grants for waters, streets, parks for the last 9 years. But water has always been my primary objective.
Shouldn't be, it's one of the major issues.
We need it to live.
Good water.
And that's our major source of income for the city.
Mhm.
That's a major source of income for the city.
Yeah.
What happens is we will do this,
Oh, what,
I think it's through the legislature
the 300K mark for water?
for research into filtration. And how to do the property without filtering.
Oh, that money's is, if it's the same one I'm thinking of, that's the reservoir one that is. We have to get it approved and the proposal plan approved tonight as well, so that we can move forward with that reservoir. That $300,000 came from, we asked the state legislator this year for, I think it was 1.5, and Representative Barkis from that for us, and we were able to secure $300,000 this year. From session. So, and that is the water, I believe it's. Let you know that I asked for clarification from the grants you're talking about. Can we have a deeper conversation so that I'm clear exactly on what grants you're talking about? Okay. The previous,
I mean, I don't have any. You know, that are existing in West Point was CDBG grants, and since, no, we didn't get it, and I can't ask again.
yeah, we don't qualify. They said. And we were at 42 and we needed 53%, so we
Well,
were
we need a 51%.
51, and I think we were at 42.
And I think that if we had gotten the information from the trail reports, and some of the other people, and if maybe we had a citizen that they know
We mailed them.
knocking on the doors.
So,
And I know that
we asked for volunteers too, so. I don't know if we've done. So we brought those reports, those updates, and we got them each time the council, so we let you know when we were gonna do another mailing and.
I didn't see another mailing come through, and I don't think anybody told me whether or not they got it. I know the gentleman across the street, and he didn't get it. So I don't know how many people, we had said, a lot of people that had field boxes didn't get those surveys, and I had made that, I think, to Stephanie, is, I don't know what happened. If they got lost in Tacoma or if our post office. I don't know. But it seemed like everybody that I had spoken to that had a PO box didn't get a survey.
Tried to update everyone's address if they came in to pay their water and,
The flyer. Filled out.
sorry,
The flyer.
Yeah, the flyer that went in the water bill. And of course, it had been edited out too, some of the information, so. People who rented rooms and things like that who would have qualified.
it's per household, so it doesn't matter if it's
Yeah, but-
rented out or not, they can't do that. If it's per household, so. Cause I asked about that too, when we were going over how can we get more of an updated list, how can we get this out, going door to door, like what can we do? And that was one of the things that was,
And yeah, they told me, because I've got two families living in, well, I call it the Taylor house. So,
definitely did all the things, brought things from some meetings. But just looking for other grants and opportunities that should be available and stuff we qualify for.
Council, can I have a moment to interject?
Take a brief moment to use the restroom as they're not during this survey or this work and study session. Okay. Okay. So,
yeah,
if phone goes off, I apologize for the loud, obnoxious vibrating that will happen on the microphone. like. Here's the two.
I don't know what.
Great loss. On the different version, if you would like. Yeah, it's, we were able to, I was able to get it to. Finally, you know, right at a, because when we put it. I was running through because I didn't realize that the printed the great thing. So. I tried to. Fix it and it just, we ended up having to make a whole new document, basically. So if that's something that you're wanting. Go ahead and do that for you. Just let me know. And Stefan brought that to our attention too, so appreciate that. May I reach over you? Yeah. This is something that I need. After. No one's gonna know when I take a drink. Well, we have about 5 minutes left, I'm just gonna let you know. During, I won't be taking your traditional maternity leave. I'll simply be dialing back my hours to be commensurate with wages and requirements that are required of me, and their program will go ahead and chair the meetings. And we'll have legal counsel available and our clerk treasurer.
Okay. I have one more question, I guess, about this fire, but is it Guardian and Fire Tech?
Okay.
Now Guardian covers cameras, fires. What do you call it, a keypad, or what do they call it? I don't know, entry pads. But Fire Tech, it doesn't look like they're covering any cameras.
We have cameras,
Yeah.
which, and I believe, so chief is gonna hop on this later in the meeting.
Okay,
But I believe they're gonna utilize, chief, correct me if I'm wrong, the camera system, the cameras that we have.
okay.
So, and chief's gonna come in and talk to you guys over during the meeting, because he was an extensive review with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. After. Forgot to ask him, are we both Curtis, I wanted to do one last check to make sure I didn't mute hear anything. Can you hear us and can you talk?
I can hear you, and you come through loud and clear. How about me?
Yep, you're good. Thank you. Started, we've got a couple minutes, because we do have a couple of the commissioners that are here. And both family members are here and they have children. I was wondering if maybe we can move up new business to just before the consent agenda. Just that one item, so that way they can go home to their families.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Do I have to do that by motion, or are we good to just move it? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it by motion, or you can just do it by,
Okay.
it's not a terribly complicated technical, thing to do.
Thank you, council members. We're doing just the one, correct? For the commissioners, and then we'll keep the other, because there's 1, 2, 6 items in new business, so we'll just move the one. That. Yes,
Oh, yes.
okay. So item D, we'll go ahead and move to just above the consent agenda. Okay, it's 7 o'clock. We'll go ahead and start our council meeting for April 8th. Go ahead and take attendance. We have all council members here except for the absent position 1, Jim Rotondo, Yvonne Starks, Harvey Gilchrist, and Bill Starks present. Can I have everyone please stand for the pledge of allegiance? Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item, filling of the vacant council seat 1. This is being continued from February 12th. Does council want to interview the candidate that they have already interviewed? No. And he is the only candidate at this time. And I'll let you guys go ahead and decide. Do you need deliberation? Do you want to propose the motion where?
I mean, I make a motion to bring them on board as a council member.
Do I hear a second? Second. I would like to remind council that if we don't appoint at this meeting, it will get turned over to Pierce County. Just to put someone in, so. Does council want to just move on to the next item and no council seat is appointed?
Yep, let's move on to the next.
Okay. New business, item D. Planning commissioners. Matt Ivy and Megan Dunn for the city planning commission.
I make a motion to approve Matt Ivy and Megan Dunn to the Roy City Planning Commission.
Megan Dunn's here, and Matt Ivy is on my side. Yeah, he should be here soon. I don't know, I didn't see anything in there stating that there was like an interview process or anything. It's just. They review, so part of the planning commission is children.
Why did they want to go? Planning Commission. It's their. I know what the Planning Commission does. But I don't, he says it, when we do all things, I don't know. Anything. We're gonna help and get you, I don't know.
Curtis, do you have next steps that we can take during this meeting, or do we need to wait?
For the appointment of the, planning commission.
Yeah.
So my memory is that they're appointed by the mayor and confirmed by city council,
Okay,
which would require a motion and a second and a vote for the confirmation.
and they don't want to go until they've interviewed, is what I'm hearing.
He ain't speaking for anybody down there, I'm speaking for.
If they don't move and second, then there won't be a confirmation vote.
And if we don't have, what happens if we only have one commissioner for the comp plan? Can it still move forward?
Well, so, I mean, obviously, this year is an extremely important year to have your planning commission in place because of the comp plan.
And if we don't get it done by June, we lose grant money that was used to pay for the comp plan.
But ultimately, it'll be the city council that will be voting on the comp plan.
Okay, so we'll just send it straight through to them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Without the review of, planning commission, which is one of the two required, missions.
So I guess the comp plan will be skipped by the planning commission and straight to you guys for review. And if we don't meet the deadline for the commerce grant requirements, we will lose the grant money that was achieved to fund the edits and the comprehensive plan update. So no new planning commissioners will be added to our planning commission. We'll go ahead and move to item number 4, citizen request to be heard. None? Okay, we'll go ahead and move to,
When Donna,
sorry, what was that?
Shauna didn't turn it in, but she
Oh,
filled one out.
okay, come on up. We'll have you fill out the request to be heard afterwards and, oh,
Oh, you did turn it in.
awesome, thank you.
Nope, I've got Cindy's. Oh, it's got your name on it. These are just.
Was that for the town hall?
Oh, okay, good. I didn't ask.
Okay. Go ahead and come on up. If you want to stand, we can move the mic up so that everyone will be able to hear you. State your name clearly and whether you live in Roy City limits or unincorporated community.
My name is Shauna Baker. And I live in the Cannon Meadows, in Roy city limits. Sent an email to everybody, and one person got back to me. What my questions are, what are each of your ideas to bring all of Roy together? This is a city that is apparently really divided. So things are not getting done. And there's deep divides. And so things are not getting done, and the water's not getting fixed, and the needs of the people and the kids are not getting done, in my opinion. So what can be done with the divide in the Roy City Council? The divide of the Roy City Council and what's trying to be done. The difference, I was told that there's a big difference between historical Roy and New Roy, and New Roy has been there for 26 years. So do we want Roy to progress, or do we want it to keep it the way that it was a long time ago? We need new revenue. I feel that without the council working together for the good of the city of Roy, nothing good can happen. I feel very strongly about that. All right, so what is happening towards getting the needed money and system? We talked about the water. Okay, and my question is, why did Ed Dunn not get voted in on the council? I feel is highly qualified. He stated that he was in the military, which taught him, and he stated this, that he learned that you work for the greater goal of the needed mission. And to me, that was really important to me. You put away personal things and you work for the needed goal. And I think that's essential for everybody on the council. I feel that, okay, I feel that he is needed because he's really good with the computer. He could write grants. He's really good with research. That's apparently what he's doing now. He has technology and research skills that I don't understand. He is needed in the council. And is it common to do an applicant to the Roy City Council the way that it was done? How was it done the last 8 or so council members? Were they treated the same? And how can we all work together for the betterment of Roy to make life better for the people in Roy? So please, I've got some time left. Would anybody, Jim, would you like to answer any of those questions?
Well, you did say something about it. As Roy's been in the past. Well, I've lived here for all my life, and I've seen Roy in the past, and it was a thriving town with business up and down the street here.
Yeah.
Years before that, the main road was over there, and there was hotels and newspapers and everything, and it just started dying out. And there's been no forward thinking by the past councils to come into the light age or whatever you want to call it. And everybody wants us to be right now get it done. What, 30 years ago when I was on the council, I told them time and time again, start putting money away for a water tower. Do we have a water tower? No. Because
Is there one at school?
yeah, we got one, but we needed 2. And I said we needed 7, and nothing happened. Now we're stuck with a multi-million-dollar project, and it's just not going to happen overnight.
I agree. So what can we start doing now to get that taken care of?
The only thing we're going to be able to do is find grants, and I think we've been writing grants right and left, and I'm a little confused about money that gets thrown around here and not really knowing where it's going or where it came from. So I'm not a money person, a numbers person. Yvonne is, and she can just ask a question, she can answer it. And I don't know you're talking about the gentleman who was turned down.
Mhm.
Okay, my first impression of him, when we came back out of that meeting, the executive meeting or closed door meeting, was when he said we were gonna push it off for a month and try and get it in line with what we're trying to do, so we can start there maybe just the way the applications are. And he made some smart ass remark and laughed and then walked out shortly after that. So that doesn't show me that he got a lot on, boy, I'm all for the team.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was there. It was there. I heard it from here, and the people in the back row all heard it too.
I was there, I didn't hear it, so.
That does not show me that he's in the right spot.
Okay.
Time's up. So. Thank you.
Do you have any other citizens request to be heard?
Accused, stand up and say.
It's time for citizens requests to be heard. No other requests? We'll go ahead and move to the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
A second.
All in favor, please raise your hand. Consent agenda approved to move forward. As it is for the meeting that was canceled and the current month. Presentations. We will go ahead and hear the Roy Elementary Community Update was needing to be canceled for tonight. So we'll go ahead and move to the Bethel School District Update. From Paul.
Hi, guys.
Hi, come on up. You can sit or stand, just make sure you turn the mic forward so that we can hear you. And you have 30 minutes.
I'm supposed to.
Uh-oh. We'll wing it if it doesn't. Here it is.
Get some lights. Just let me know when you want to proceed forward.
Yeah. Okay, Mayor Ivy, council members, citizens of Roy, thanks for having me here. I'm Paul Marquardt. I'm the Executive Director of Operations for the Bethel School District. And I'm excited to talk to you guys about our new high school, Bethel High School. Citizens voted to approve, go ahead and go to the next slide. A new Bethel High School back in 2019. We had done a study, and I don't know if you've been to Bethel High School, but we found that it was old. It was falling apart. We have 3 different roof structures on it because we kept adding roofs as they failed. It was leaking constantly. Although our staff did a great job of keeping it in decent shape, it just wasn't adequate anymore for our students. It's too small. The cafeteria is much too small. There's 2 main bathrooms for nearly 2,000 kids. It was just not suitable for what we expect and want for our students today. So citizens voted to build a brand new high school on a different site. The lot even was too small to really have great athletic facilities, enough parking and all of that. And so after many studies, we knew to move it off site. Fortunately, our Superintendent Siegel, had some foresight and about 19 years ago started working on finding property for a future high school or middle school site. I'm sure those of you living in Roy know that property is becoming harder and harder to hold on to and find, right? So we found a great piece of property off 224th. If you look at the top of that picture, you'll notice little white marks. That's North Star Elementary and Rainier View Christian Church off 224th. And then along the left there is 70th Avenue. So This site will be, will house a 2,800 or 285,000 square foot, new building. It's gonna have a performance center. It will have all turf, football, baseball, softball fields. It will have space for, career and technical education classrooms. It will have space for Pierce College classrooms. One of the things we're really trying to support is post-high school enrollment or engagement of our students, whether that be in universities, community colleges, or trades training. So there'll be space so that students can start working on their 2-year degree while they're in high school, right there on campus. Go ahead and move to the next slide. So you saw that beautiful piece of property in the previous slide. This is what that property will look like with the school on it. You'll notice that there is a lot of green space around that school. This property is kind of at the headwaters of Mud Creek, which drains into the Nisqually River. And so we really did our due diligence, hired many experts, and really planned carefully with the county and with these experts to ensure that we are good stewards of the land and taking care of the wetlands that are on the property and ensuring that water runoff and water retention is being handled beyond standards. But to kind of orient you to this property a little bit, again, the top is 224th, and on the left is 70th Avenue, and the white in there is the school. And so there's, can walk over here, is it? Okay. You'll notice here is a number of wetland areas. In the south west corner, there's a number of wetland areas, and we even purchased 10 additional acres about a year and a half ago to ensure that we could have proper runoff from that site.
Is this just the high school and not the junior high?
Just the high school. Yeah. That's what I'm going to say. I think that's going it. You can move to the next slide, please. So this is a rendering of the school from the north entrance, and this is the main entrance of the school. And it's a 2-story beautiful brick building. It's kind of got that classic look, but also some modern features to it. Go ahead and move to the next slide. This is if you backed up from that, it's kind of a broader view of the main entrance. To the left of that front door where you can see that entryway, that's the new performance center that we'll have at that site. Go ahead and go to the next one. So I'm going to take you on a tour around the building, okay? So you were just standing to the north in front, looking at the building. Now we're going to walk around to the east of it. So this is kind of that east front side of the building, about to go around that corner. This is where when parents come and drop off, they'll start to go around this corner here and along the side of the building. Go ahead and go to the next slide. This is the west side of the building. All along there, you'll notice classroom windows. It's very important. A lot of study has been done for what helps facilitate learning in classrooms, and light, natural light, is extremely important. So a lot of work's been done to bring natural light into classrooms, and also bringing nature into the classrooms has been proven to be very important. You know, for a while, the theory was you don't want kids to be distracted. You don't want them looking out windows. When I'm focused on their teacher and focused on the work. What we've learned studying the mind and studying learning is kids don't have to be looking at you to be retaining. right? And sometimes it's good for them to be able to look out and see nature and be calm and be listening to the instructor or whoever. Go ahead and go to the next slide. So this is, again, if you stand back, a little wider angle view of the whole west side of the campus. Go ahead and go to the next slide. You'll notice lots of green area for kids, families to come on weekends and enjoy. So this is as you go down south along that west side. There's that gray column in the middle. That is the main entrance for the gym area. So all the gym and athletics are right there on the south end of the building. And so there's a nice entrance there for those basketball games, volleyball games, things like that. Next one. And so that is looking at the building from the south end. And this would be the student entrance. So the students would be parking down at the south end of the building. Parents, adults would be coming down to drop off from 224th. Students would be driving in off 70th. So we're kind of trying to separate them a little bit and ease the traffic off one particular one road of everything. Go ahead and go to the next slide. So this is really cool. If you look at the renderings up here where you can see the floor plan of the buildings, you'll notice that there's kind of that spine that goes along the whole building, and it kind of goes out almost like a triangle. So along the whole spine of the building, there is the commons. So that's where the lunchroom is, that's where sitting areas are. It really kind of spreads kids out for the lunchroom time or space to study and things like that. But still allows for the administrator and the staff to have a nice line of sight to be able to monitor kids and make sure they're appropriate and safe. But this is on the east side. If you look at that, it's on the bottom of the rendering. And it's really cool because there's a lot of windows and a lot of doors into the commons and that part of the spine. And kids would be able to, during lunch, go outside as well on a nice day and be able to eat outside. That'll be a huge improvement from current Bethel High School. How many of you have been in the current Bethel High School? How many graduated from there? Nice, nice. Yeah. Yep. It'll be a huge improvement. There'll be a lot of space for kids and they'll be able to spread out and enjoy it. Right now, they're just too compacted in there. And it's really difficult for students and for admin to manage. And then go ahead and go to the next slide. So this is as you go north on that east side of the building. So this is what will be the CTE space, the Career and Technical Education space. And so there's this outdoor area where they'll be able to have to do projects and things like that, be able to bring things in. And then where it's kind of in gray there, those are large doors that open up, and those are our classrooms for CTE. And we're very excited about those opportunities. Currently at Bethel High School, we have CTE crammed in portables, a lot of classes crammed in portables. I think we have 30-something portables on that site currently. This will get all our kids into the building, into quality learning spaces for years to come. And I think, there's some renderings here for you to look at, and I would welcome any questions about it. Did I mention that we're opening in fall of 2026? So there's been a lot of questions. The bond was passed in 2019. We've done a lot of bond projects and people keep asking, when is Bethel High School? When is Bethel High School? Well, as you know, as you've already heard, as you look at that property at that site, there was a lot of work to do to make sure we were good stewards of that property. With all the water runoff, the wetlands, the Growth Management Act, we actually had to change laws to be able to build a school south of the Growth Management Act line. And we had to deal with Pierce County changing rules and changing codes on us as we're doing it. So we've had people working very diligently getting this new school for your students. And we were very happy to break ground officially a couple of weeks ago. And as if you drive by there, you'll see lots of construction happening. So I welcome any questions.
Real quick, how do you plan to deal with the traffic congestion?
So great question. We get that every time, right? With any project like this, there's offsite improvements that you're required to do. And so we're working with Pierce County on what those offsite requirements will be. There's some turn lanes going in, sidewalks going in. I can't remember. I don't think that's all completely decided.
Additional traffic lights or widening the road to accommodate traffic on that major highway to get kids to come out, no traffic accidents.
Yep, all of that is part of what will be required with those offsite improvements. Yep.
Thank you.
How many students do you currently have?
I think currently there's 1,800 kids.
And how many do you propose that's gonna hold over the next, what?
Oh, that's so funny because we've had multiple meetings lately. We're doing a facility advisory committee right now, and we've projected out for the next 20 years. We're actually projected to have 19 to 2,000 kids at this high school. So the high schools aren't growing as much as our elementaries will, because they kind of spread out to all the high schools. And it is the capacity. We built it for that capacity. Yep. Is that okay?
That's wonderful.
Is any of the boundaries, I don't have kids at Bethel High School, but I know boundary changes
Yeah.
to change high schools. Are any of those gonna be changing for any of the students?
It wouldn't be as a result of this new high school, because the students would simply be going from the old Bethel High School to the new Bethel High School.
Okay.
And so, because we're building this school wouldn't mean that the boundaries change. Now, I'll say that with a caveat, because those of you that live in Roy know that the creep is coming down, right? Like the spread of people is coming down. And we are one of the 3 districts in Pierce County that are growing. There's us, there's White River, and there's Sumner Bonnet. All the other districts are actually stabilizing or declining in student enrollment. Of those 3, we have the highest growth, and we were projected to have the highest growth for years to come. So there will likely be, as a result of, like I said, we have a facility advisory committee right now, and I would guess that one of their recommendations is to look at boundary adjustments. One of the reasons is we have Liberty Middle School that has almost 1,000 kids, and then we have other middle schools that have 600 to 700 kids. So just to write that a little bit, and like Shining Mountain Elementary typically has from 600 to 800 kids, and some other elementaries around 400 or 500, right? So I would be willing to project that in the next few years, we'd be looking really seriously at adjusting some boundaries. But it wouldn't be just because we built a new high school.
And are you gonna be using the old building to house students as other like you've done before? house students as other schools are being remodeled or upgraded?
Yeah, so used as a swing school. The plan currently is to use Old Bethel High School as a swing school when we modernize or rebuild Cedar Crest Middle School. And that was, Cedar Crest Middle School was part of the 2019 bond as well.
And are there gonna be hydrants on site, thinking of the fire safety?
Oh, yeah, all that's code and required, and yeah. Everything will be to Pierce County's wonderful codes and requirements. Yeah, the fire safety systems are very high tech these days, yeah. And there's the minimum that we have to abide by, and typically our systems are beyond that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, couple. So in 2019, the projected enrollment was one number. 2026, the actual enrollment is going to be much higher. You have to build a school based on what the bond has at. So how soon are portables going to be put in?
You know, and that's a very good point. So what she's referring to is when you build a school, it's really a stupid system. Sorry. People often know how I feel about things pretty quickly. It's, if you want any state match money, and I don't like that they call it state match, because let's say a school costs $100 million, they're not matching anything. They're giving you a small percentage of that. But if you want any of that money from the state, you have to base it on the current number of students that would be in that school. So yeah, the numbers were something in 2019. They're a different number now. They're actually not that much different from when they were in 2019. And the school is built for the number of students we have.
Okay, next question. All those windows and doors all the way around, what's the security plan?
100 questions. Okay.
Thanks, Chief.
Yep. Thanks, Chief. So as executive director of operations, I get to oversee the construction department, the maintenance facilities department, the risk management department, pretty much everything operations except for money. Seems messed up. But I don't want money. I hear that's you, Yvonne. Bethel School District has been at the forefront of security of districts for a long time. And so there's security vestibules to get in. So at the main entrances, there's a series of doors that you have to go through. And there's a video and key entry system. So just like our schools now, when you go up to the school, you have to press a button. There's a camera on you. You have to show ID. They buzz you in. With our projects now, and not all of our schools have it yet, but most of them do, and it's our ed spec for all buildings that we build. There's what's called a security vestibule. So you get buzzed in one set of doors, and that takes you in kind of like a foyer, where there's another set of doors and a door to the office. And so there's kind of like a little filtering that can happen there. And then you're buzzed into the office. And then from the office, you have to be buzzed in to the actual building. So someone cannot just rush into a building without getting through a series of steps to get in where students would be. And then you mentioned the windows. So our entryways all have, that again is part of our new construction. And this summer we're putting them in all our buildings. Our entryways all have it's called 3M security film. And it's not bulletproof where it would stop a bullet, but you could go online and watch a video of this. There's a police officer that shot at it was a doorway window, shot at the doorway window multiple rounds with a think he shot it with an AR-15. Shot it multiple times, and then, for about 30 minutes, he beat it with a sledgehammer, a fire axe, a baseball bat, and something else, and then was kicking it. And in that 30 minutes, he still could not get a hole big enough in that window to fit through it. Now I'm pretty sure our police will have responded within 30 minutes. So all our entryways will have that. We actually considered putting that on all first-story windows as well, but we were advised against that by the fire department because that would also mean that people, if there were a fire, could not get out those windows. So
What about just the visual of someone outside seeing the students in there and knowing where they are?
yeah, so all of our schools are prepared for lockdowns. And that means that there are any variation of lockdown shades that can immediately be dropped. And that's on the exterior and the interior. So all interior windows, including any windows in the doorways, would have lockdown shades that teachers, students can either pull down or automatically go down. So that people meaning harm would not be able to tell where people are. Yeah, and that's part of our ed specs for all buildings that we build. And all of our buildings have some sort of shades or something in them as well.
Of course, the access keys that we have now to get the rest of the best schools in Falsely.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I really try to work closely with our local fire departments and police departments.
Real quick, to piggyback on that question, you mentioned entrance ways. What about other doors around the building? Will the student be able to open that door to allow others to come in, similar to Auburn? Where that person assumed those individuals were students?
Yeah, so all entries would have a keypad. So you'd have to have a keypad to get in. At Bethel, there'll be a video system at the main door, and there'll be a video, and there'll be video for the student door, even though people would not be coming in and out that door anytime other than the beginning of school. Right?
Tracking that.
Yeah.
Other doors around the building.
Yes. So what's nice about Bethel High School is there's no outbuildings. So kids would have no reason other than athletics to PE, stuff like that, to be going in and out of the building.
You just said lunch could be outside on that whole.
Yeah, okay, yep, yep.
So what
So,
to stop someone from coming there and walking in with kids that don't know every kid in the school?
thank you. So any area on our campus also that has kids out would be behind 6-foot chain link fence. So there wouldn't be a reason that someone that's not supposed to be there would be out in that area. Now, if someone tries hard enough, they're gonna find holes in any system, right? The goal is to try to minimize that and make as many steps as possible for somebody. That's one of the things Superintendent Siegel drives around, and you will hear about it if there's a door that's propped open, right? Like, it's well known around the district. Teachers know it, classified staff know it, principals know it, everybody knows. If Superintendent Siegel sees a door propped open, you're gonna hear directly from him, because that's a kink in the armor, right? We wanna minimize that as much as possible.
There's cameras at all those doors to show who propped that door open.
There's cameras at entryways, doorways, in main hallways in the office, and outside areas where kids gather. We have, last year, actually, we developed criteria for high school, where do we have cameras, at middle school, where do we have cameras, and elementary, where do we have cameras.
Real quick, you mentioned adults knowing not to prop doors open, but what about the students when that time frame comes?
Yeah,
What is the plan to drill that into them so they don't prop doors open?
yeah, that's part of, and that's not even when that's built, that's drilled into kids now. Any adult that doesn't have a badge, they're supposed to report, that's repeated. Doors are not to be propped open. Kids are not, if you walk up to high school and you go up to the front door and there's kids going in, they're gonna all of a sudden get real awkward. Cause they know not to let you in, but they feel weird about that, but they know not to. And so kids are taught, we do not open the doors for people. Now, if there are other students and they know the students, they'll hold the door open for them. But if they don't know who they are, they're taught not to hold the door open.
And we as law enforcement on a yearly basis do lockdown drills at the schools. And we basically grade the schools on how the lockdown systems done. It would suggest improvements and stuff like that.
We're in the process of doing that now. We actually have chief, you probably support when Roy does it. Our SROs, our school resource officers will go and support when we do lockdown drills, and they'll do full lockdown drills where everything's shut down, all the blinds will be closed, all the doors will be locked. And our SROs, our police officers will be there going through, making sure all the systems are working the way they're supposed to work. And then I hear about it.
It's a shame we need to do this thing.
It is, and I think it is and it isn't, right? Like, the hope is you never have to use it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And I don't feel like it's an intrusive, it's intrusive in a way that makes kids feel like they're behind, locked doors or anything like that. I think, I'll be honest, when I first came to the district, I thought it was going to be a little uncomfortable asking people for their ID when they came to the door, right? But when you explain to new families to the district, hey, we show our ID because we want to keep kids safe and we want to make sure someone's supposed to be here, it puts people at ease. And if we can make people feel safer and more comfortable at school, it's a good thing.
Time's up.
Well, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. Appreciate all the information you brought to us.
Thank you.
Ahead and choose to move into the next section. We'll try to give the presentation from John. He works for the City of Roy's engineering company Skillings. And introduce yourselves.
Yeah, hi. Council, Mayor Ivy, thanks for having me, and also thanks for selecting us. I'm John Efficient. I'm the utility manager with Skillings. We are a full service civil engineering firm. We have environmental and survey branches in our firm, so we do quite a bit. We've been in business for 40 years. Our fearless leader, Tom Skillings, wanted to be here tonight and couldn't make it, but he's built this company from the ground up, helping communities like Roy from day one. So this is kind of our bread and butter. And me, a little background on me in particular. I'm a utility manager. So water systems and sewer systems and comprehensive planning, things like that. I heard some of these words in the study session get thrown around. These are my specialty. So this is what I do day to day, every day for communities all across Washington. Most recently, we're helping the water district of Northern Puyallup here with a water system plan update. Some water districts in Lewis County with their water system plan updates and rate studies. And I know that that's an item later in the agenda, but just wanted to make an introduction and say hello to everybody. And thanks for selecting us, and look forward to making a difference for you guys.
Thank you.
There are no further presentations at this time, no public hearings. We do have a resolution, resolution 964. It's for the lease agreement between the City of Roy and Verizon Wireless. It's City of June Services.
So make a motion to approve resolution 964.
Second that motion.
All in favor, please raise your hands. All indicated affirming. Resolution 964 passes. Moving to ordinances, ordinance 1016. Does a council member want to go ahead and read that?
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Roy, Pierce County, Washington, relating to city borders and commissions, adopting chapter 2-6 of the Roy Municipal Code, establishing the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee, providing for servability and publication, and setting an effective date. I make a motion that we set a date for this, approve this ordinance and set a date.
Bill, was your hand up or down?
Yes, ma'am.
It was,
Who seconded? I'm sorry.
Harvey seconded,
Harvey motioned.
Yvonne.
I made the motion, she made the second.
Oh, thank you, sorry.
It was reverse on the first one.
Oh, yes.
Okay, old business, lobbyist. So our lowest RFP returned was from, the Pintos. And the next one up was going to be more than double. So I recommend we go with the lowest bidder. That is my recommendation. Council?
I make a motion that we approve the lobbyist. It'll help us with some grant funding, and additional money that we can use here in Florida.
Since, the Pinto, he's the mayor right now.
It's interesting that he's gonna be lobbying for us, and he's the mayor of the neighborhood too. Seems to be a conflict of interest there.
I just followed policy and he was our lowest bidder. And that, like I said, the next contract up is gonna be.
He would fight hard for his city, I think, with ours.
Okay.
That's my opinion before we discussed them. You know, he would look out for his city before he would look out for ours.
Question from you.
I'm good. Because however we do this, he's the lowest bidder.
He's the lowest bidder.
True. So we're gonna, as we discussed finances previously, if we went forward, go with someone nearly double. Which, again, financially, we all discussed this, we are struggling financially. But I know we have other things coming up financially we have to pay for the city and deal with for the city. Where do we draw the line?
Right, I'm also gonna say the activities that he would do for us, that we've already been doing for ourselves. Looking for grants are published online, grants are put out at county meeting. So I don't see the income as an output of money with stuff that's we're already receiving. Our council members have been writing grants, I'm sure, city employees have been writing grants. So I see a loss of money. Why put out money for stuff that we're already doing? And also, my opinion also, he's for another city. Yes, he's gonna put up, I'm looking for you guys too, but he's gonna look for his city first. It's human nature, plain and simple. And I don't see anything. He may be doing something, but if there's any additional cost according to this, additional cost, we could get hit for those additional costs, like wining and dining, whatever. And I just don't feel good about that. I feel it's a money output that we don't really need to put out. The 6,000 plus could be used for other things for the city. So in my opinion, we do not need a lobbyist.
accepting Washtop Crosswalk Project Grant from 2023 and authorizing the mayor to move forward with the project as long as it falls within the parameters of the grant funding and to follow up after a post-design phase.
I make a motion to approve.
I second that motion.
All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes. The personnel policy manual was provided to you. If you need a larger print, let me know. I was able to get a document that doesn't have that gray.
What all we thought?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. It's not on the original document when you go to print it. I don't know why it was printed with it. This was a lot of documentation, so it wasn't something that was intentional at all. So please let me know if you would like a reprint of that, and then we'll go ahead and get that done for you.
Yes, I would like a reprint.
Excuse me,
I would like a reprint.
anyone else? It is also provided digitally, so if you need it bigger than 12, or decide that you want a certain page blown up bigger, you have that as well. So I am only hearing that Bill Starks would like a reprint at size 12.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Jim, do you need a bigger print for the policy manual?
Well, I'd like to have the bigger print and a complete document that I can read.
Yes.
Those are the listeners. I would,
Words
we
that-
don't do anything on this until we have those. two
No,
problems.
that's what I'm asking,
Oh,
that
yeah.
you want a larger print.
Yes. But somebody.
Somebody to read it.
So we can read it.
Bedtime story?
What's that?
Bedtime story?
Yeah.
Okay, I will get those printed and have them to you as soon as possible.
Thank you.
You will receive an email when those are ready for pickup. Water rate study RFPs, Skillings and another, we only received the 2. I'll let you guys go ahead and move forward how you would like. Let me know.
Well, I would make a motion to approve FCS group only because they're the cheaper of the 2.
All in favor, raise your hands.
Right.
Okay,
Who seconded? I'm sorry.
Jim Rotondo.
Thank you.
And that includes, moving forward within the cost parameters and the budget parameters, correct? Moving to new business. I'm gonna turn some time over to Chief Antista to discuss National Night Out. Chief, would you like to come up? And the fire and.
So first, I'll start with the National Night Out. National Night Out this year will be held again with Yelm. I looked at some cost, and with all the other stuff we have going on right now, that's not an event that we can afford to put out. The other event that's coming up soon will be May 4th, which is Hometown Heroes. That is gonna be, we got trash cans funded for through the May. So we'll have 3 of those out here in the parking lot. We're gonna have a barbecue at the park. The Grange and Lions are gonna take care of the food and drinks for that. And so the other thing we need is volunteers. Triple Nickel is gonna be coming out volunteering to clean up the park area. Possibly redo the gravel in the playground area. So we're just waiting for confirmation on what they're gonna partake. And then we also need other volunteers. Public Works Director is gonna come up with some other key areas that we're gonna concentrate on to get those cleaned up. So whatever volunteers we can get to help out with that would be greatly appreciated. And pretty neat budget for events right now. I mean, we're still looking into doing the 4th of July parade down McNaught It's just yeah, Delmy, not it's just a matter of we can get the proper signage in time in order to do that. WASDOT requires a lot of signs to be posted like weeks prior to, and then there's more streets that we have to shut down for that event. STP is set and ready to go. I added a officer at Water Street. They only wanted one at McNaught and Huggins Craig, which was going to be a WSP officer. But WSP now also wants a Roy police officer there, or Pierce County. Pierce County doesn't want to do it, so they asked us to do it. Because if there's a traffic accident there, that stretch of 507 is our responsibility. So we will take care of whatever incidents happen at that intersection. And I also told them that we needed at Water Street, because if you come off of Water Street out of that community onto Warren, there's a blind spot on that bridge. And I don't want, any accidents there involving bike riders. So they're also gonna, they're gonna pay our overtime for that. Now with fire and security, what prompted us to get quotes for the fire and security is currently our fire system is not monitored. It used to run off an old radio system that has to have other radios in the area in order for it to communicate. Because of the new cellular stuff coming out, everyone's going to cellular. So the radios that we have in the area are dropping off. And that's what's stopping the monitoring to go to the monitoring facility. I was a little surprised that I believe that Pioneer Fire was aware of this. They didn't tell us until we came in one day and our system was beeping, and didn't know why it was beeping until they came out. And right away, they gave us no other solution but to upgrade it to cellular. So there was no pre-planning that this was going to happen. So the quote that they gave us is on here, and it's $795 per unit to convert it. So we have one system in here, City Hall, and there's another one, Public Works. So what we also did is put out an RFP to look at building security, which we do not have at all. The current system isn't working because that was run off of a phone line, and someone in the old administration stopped paying the phone line once we went to everything through the computer system. So the alarm system hasn't been working for a while. So the system is still there. Pioneer said they could upgrade it, but only because of these shortfalls that we've been having with Pioneer, I don't believe that they're going to be the company for us to keep. It doesn't seem like they're upfront with us on a lot of stuff. When I asked them about this, I says, well, how is this becoming our problem and not your problem? Because if you're supplying us a system that's supposed to monitor for a fire and now it doesn't, why are we having to pay for that? And they said, well, we only guarantee our products for 2 years and you're past that, so you got to pay for the upgrade. So we went out and got several other quotes. The quotes you have, and yes, they are pricey, very pricey. And it, by the looks of it, one of them did not include cameras, and that was FireTech. So FireTech came out and gave us a quote just for the fire system. They were one of the first ones that came out, and they didn't even mention about building security. They offer stuff, but a lot of the stuff that they offered looks like it was going to be more expensive. So we had them concentrate on the fire. Now we had other bids that came in, and the one from Guardian, even though it looks like the higher quote, If we were to take out the camera system, the current system that we have now is sufficient. The only thing it didn't do, which I talked with our IT and had them fix it, was I wanted to be able to see inside this building. If someone was to call me and say, hey, we've got an issue inside the building, before we come in here, I wanted to be able to look at the cameras and see what's going on, so I can properly prepare on who I need before we come in. So that he now has hooked up, so now I have access to all the cameras and I'm able to see. The only thing it might need is whatever company we decide to come in and do the fire. And we're also gonna have them add key cards to the door, which is operated by a card that all employees will carry at all times. The other issue we have is we have several keys out there. I know Pierce County deputies have a couple, so they could use the community center if they're down in this area, use the restrooms. Which is fine. There's only a couple and they're not handed out to everybody. So there's a couple deputies that have them. And then also we have the probation department that utilizes that area to do their interviews. With the key card system, anytime anybody uses a key, they have to have authorized to get in that building. So like my office, the only one that have authorization would be Drew and I. Drew and I will have access to every door, every office in the building. And then if anyone tries to use their key card in any of the unauthorized areas, we'll know. And in Public Works, the building in there, if they put a key card out there, some of the systems, nobody has to have a key. If they want to get into that building, they either call William and I, and through our phones, we can give them access just for that day. So once they put in the code, that will get them in the building. When they leave, that code no longer allows them in the building. So they can't just come anytime they want to go in the building. And sometimes with probation, it is scheduled. They usually come every Thursday. But like last week, they had something going on. They showed up on Wednesday. I wasn't notified. William wasn't notified. And they just kind of showed up. And because they have a key, they were able to get in there. So I discussed with them, that we're planning on changing that. And same thing with the deputies. The deputies I know have the key, so the same thing. We need control access to that building, because there's been times where they've gone in there with the key. As they're closing the door, they're not watching the door. The little foot drops down, they hold the door open, one comes in the morning, and the door's propped open. Yes.
Will that also be on the back doors of the building?
It will. So the key cards will be, so there'll be 6 total. Most of them will be here within the city building. And then there'll be one over there at Public Works.
The internal office, like community center, Public Works, would that be a key card access also?
Yes. Yeah. So we were, so now we're looking at, we're making sure that, for instance, if we would use Guardian or any of the other ones, we're gonna see if the price is gonna stay the same if they take out the cameras. Some of these companies, the price they give is because they're putting it in a bundle. But once you start removing stuff, the only thing with Guardian that William and I both noticed that Guardian is the only one that gave us a complete quote. It has the fees in there for permits. It has the fees in there for taxes. All of that stuff in there. If you read some of these other ones and we get down into the fine lines, they put, well, addition, it's, the taxes, it's the permits, it's all that stuff. They kind of, and then that's at whatever cost it is at the time that they do the project. I think even one of them states that they'll come in and do all the work, but then we got to get an electrician to come in and run all the wires. So they're, they kind of subcontracting stuff out. William took a lot of time. He sent out over 30 emails to almost everybody on the list that we have to use to get bids. And we got 4 responses. 3 of them actually came out. 2 of them gave us bid. 1 of them sent his bid late. He sent it 3 days late. But after looking at it today, he's probably gonna be the highest bidder anyways. But the other ones are pretty close in price. We just need to see if they knock the cameras off, which will knock anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000 off the price. So now that we know what the prices are, now we can start looking at quotes. I mean, looking at grants to cover this cost. The only other thing is if we want the fire system now, if William shuts off the beeping that we have to hear every morning when we come in, the one back in my office does not shut off at all. It constantly beeps. There's nothing we can do. William called Pioneer and said, how do I shut that beeping off? They said, well, you have to cut the power to the system. If you do that, the system won't work. There's no way to stop the beeping. You can control it on one, but you can't control it on the other. So there is a quick fix, which is less money with going through Pioneer. They come in and they fix the cellular, but how long is that gonna last? And after 2 years, are they gonna tell us, sorry, there's something new, and now you gotta pay for it again?
And they've not been very responsive.
Yeah, so the other thing we can do is we can put up with a beeping while we research this other. Yeah, it's annoying, but you know, Will and I both talked, it's the quick fix. Probably isn't the best fix at this point. So we're gonna have to look for grants to try to cover some of this other stuff. So. And I mean, we might be able to, because once we get the alarm system, we have to make sure that the alarm system, whatever, like when the alarm goes off, I'd rather myself be alerted. I could open up the cameras, make sure that the building's secure, none of the key cards have been accessed or none of the windows are smashed. Then we don't have to send somebody out here. We don't have to pay them overtime to come out. I can do it right from my phone. Same with William. If William has access to it, he can look at it, the mayor can look at it, to see whether we have to have someone come out here or not. Because even though Pierce County covers when we're gone, they don't come out for free.
That's a charge.
Now,
They
they
pay.
give you a call and say, this
Yeah.
is happening, do you want us to show up? I remember that very well.
And the other thing about Guardian, all these other ones, the monitoring is done at another site somewhere else. Everything through Guardian is done all in their business. So the monitoring comes from them. So they get the call, they call dispatch like always, and then dispatch.
Yeah, I dealt with those when I was doing security work before I retired.
What's that?
I dealt with Guardian when I was doing security
okay.
work.
Yeah.
All over the state, so.
Yeah, so they're a bigger, like I said, their thing was complete. At this point, until we could actually contact them and see if the price and everything else is gonna stay the same, if they take the camera system off. By talking to them, it sounds like it will stay the same, because they said, we're gonna give you some options, you kind of choose which route you wanna go. So. Well, you know, there'll obviously be more once we get all of this information. We'll come back to you again and present the final. See who actually comes out cheaper. Okay.
Thank you.
It's that early years diet and listening to what you talk about. Why is old Roy, new Roy, at the Mason-Dixon line or whatever they're separating them. When I was working at the fire department, every national night out, we left the fire station at about 4 in the afternoon, and we had a list of places we were going to do. Every fire crew emptied out all the stations. They went out, and the national night out was the whole community on the cul-de-sac getting to know each other. And then they'd go to these guys, and they some of the best food I ever ate. But that was, the idea was that, is to get communities together and know each other. Again, we're going to Yale. I understand money wise, at least something is getting done, but I think like a little effort, something should be put into keeping it or getting that here. And we've had it here in the past.
We've always had it here at the community center,
Yeah.
a barbecue, either ice cream and sweets.
The National Night Out is designed to get communities together and talk to each other.
Yeah.
I don't even know any of my neighbors. Don't have a clue who they are. That's not the way it should be. It should be the people down, in the Oakview Highs and all that. I don't know how many people you guys know in that neighborhood that's designed to get everybody out, walk off the street, and the kids are playing kids' games and stuff, and, it's a shame that we're gonna take our chance to get everybody kind of together and take it someplace else. And we're not gonna get anything solved if we keep splitting and dividing like that. And that's, she's right, and that's one way we could do it. And next year, maybe that'll become real important. I don't know.
I mean, we can also do that when we have, hometown heroes. People can come out and volunteer. You get to meet your neighbors.
Yeah, hometown heroes, 4th of July.
There's several opportunities to meet your neighbors, not just that one night. There's several opportunities within town to meet neighbors, to connect with other folks within town.
Oh, just one thing I forgot real quick is the photos that were on the wall prior. I took that upon myself to take those down and reframe them, put new plexiglass in there. Those are gonna be displayed at the park where the barbecue is. And we'll do some type of ceremony there, and then they will be put back up on the wall. In addition to that, from these years going forward, is we're gonna put out for volunteers, for people to volunteer other hometown heroes in the community, whether it be police, military, fire. And then from this point forward, we'll put a board or something out there and get the little metal plaques and add that to that section. They'll be displayed right underneath the photographs.
Are you gonna be doing background checks and all the volunteers? Or volunteer forms?
Volunteer forms, yes.
Every soldier that comes, goes to a volunteer
Yes,
form,
every volunteer will have to fill out a volunteer form.
Mm-hmm.
background checks and all that too.
That background checks are, from what I'm hearing, not required for volunteers. And then the option to do a background check would be run by, what was the name of the?
So there's 2 different ways. We'll do it through WSP. When we did an audit this year, do Access. Access is what us police officers use to access all of our systems. And there's only certain people that have to have it, which right now is Drew and I, because we have access to people's personal information, their criminal history, and stuff like that. For employees other than police officers, and for whether they be employees, whether they be volunteers, there's another system that the city can use. I was scolded by Access that we are not supposed to be using that system to run employees other than police officers. Because the extensity of those backgrounds is not the same as it is for an employee or for volunteers. So from this point going forward, we can still do background checks, but it's mainly just name, date of birth, and we can either run it through WSP, though every time we run someone, there's a cost. I guess we were doing it through here because there was no cost, but we shouldn't have been doing it.
And from my understanding,
Forward, it will stop.
and from my understanding, with past hometown heroes, those individuals just fill out the volunteer form, and we were good with a volunteer form because it explained that the city will not be liable if something happened to them based on the volunteer form.
Yep, and that's still on there. So, yeah. So yeah, those need to be revamped. Those have already been done.
That way we had everyone filled it out, to include myself, filled it out, kept on file. This is what it looks like.
Annually.
Yeah.
Will change.
Thanks, Chief.
You're going to remount those pictures on that wall.
Yep.
There are a lot of people that lived in this town that served in the military and died, whatever. And the people that are on there, they're all good people. I understand that, but they drove through town one time and stopped and had a cup of coffee or what, I don't know what the criteria was. But my next door neighbor, her brother-in-law is still down the bottom of the ocean in the, Arizona. And there are several, there used to be a whole list in this building somewhere of a lot of those people, that there are a lot of people who built this town, basically from the ground up, that their families are angry.
And that's what we have discussed it thoroughly amongst, the mayor, Michael, myself, and the rest of the employees here. And we all decided that it needs to be bigger than what it is. I don't know what the criteria was before. All I know is the two officers that are up there, they were selected because they both worked this area. They were assigned to D10. In the military guys, it was from JBLM. I don't know if he was born and raised in the city.
That was before me.
Yeah, I don't know if he was or not, but all I know is the two officers, and because they work D10.
They work this area.
So that's why we're putting out, whether we'll go out into the water bill, whether it'll go out in the newspaper. But we will be asking for people to nominate other hometown heroes.
There as well.
And we will get all of them included. And it doesn't have to be, I know I mentioned police and fire and military. It doesn't have to be, it could be, someone that just donated a lot of time and effort. I mean, all the members that, the committee for the water tower, all of those people that donated any time heavily. I know Harvey, and there's a lot of other people here, someone in this room, that have done a lot of stuff for the city. And all of those people should be recognized. So that's why we want to create this in a plaque. No, we can't hang everybody's picture on the wall. We don't have enough building to do that, but they should be, there should be a plaque there, which then we'll be, and then we'll add all these names, a plaque. But yeah, so if you have any people that you want to donate, there's slips there. You can fill those out, and we'll get those plaques made, and we'll get it done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead and move to item B of new business. Accepting the continuance of the contract that we currently have with Lucky Transport and updating the signers to be current.
I'll make a motion to approve Lucky Transportation.
I second that.
All in favor, please raise your hand. Approved by all, motion passes. Item C in new business, proposed motion approving STP as a special event permit.
Make a motion to approve STP special permit.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, raise your hand. Any nays? Okay, 3 approve, Rotundo name. New business item E, to enter into a local agreement with Pierce County for road and traffic maintenance services. Our Public Works Department reviewed this contract extensively for assistance in areas where we don't have a snowplow, we don't have some of these other things that the city may need during times that our Public Works Department can't provide. And so this interlocal agreement would allow them to tap into that. If
Motion.
needed.
motion to approve Pierce County Road and Traffic Maintenance Services.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, please raise your hand. Nays?
I'm just not sure about the cost. I think 15,000 plus materials and some of the things they want to do just seems a whole lot more than.
And that would have to be, if service was required by them, it would have to be discussed and they would provide over cost proposal, which would.
I'm just not sure about it.
I would have to think if we have a snowy good as you have more often now. The snowfall is gonna go down 1 or 2 streets in Roy and they're gone because they got hundreds and hundreds of miles of road covered and we're just one dot on the end of the road. I just wonder how much effort will they put into it?
How responsible.
When you say, hey, we want all of them.
They already do 507. They usually do the road up to the school.
Well, they do Academy Street too, all
Mm.
we just do it. Time will tell, I guess.
We don't have a quorum vote to approve it, so. It does not pass.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't get a quorum vote for it. Only 2 people voted yes. So, and no interlocal agreement. New business item, I asked for a motion to approve the city, to redo the rental agreement for the Cecilia Hansen Community Center. And that was provided to you.
Make a motion to approve and update the City of Roy Cecilia Hansen Community Center rental agreement.
Out of curiosity, what would it mean for change this?
It's all included in.
I'm looking at it like that. I'm gonna take 3 days and it'll be.
Well, if you can wait until fall council has had a chance to review it. So we'll add this back on to the next meeting.
Just changing the hours, I believe, mostly. Changing the hours mostly of when to get the keys and that type of thing.
Standards that are being, make sure that. Modernizing it.
I don't know.
Make a motion, prove it.
I'll make a motion to do it.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Can I get a vote by hands for yay? 1, 2, all pass. Rental agreement is a motion accepted for redoing it. Okay, we'll go ahead and move to mayor's report, and I will go ahead and try to be as respectful with everybody's time and move quickly. Library, there are handouts on the table over there going over how our Pierce County Library meeting went and the suggestions that they have for us and how to get a library here at our location, whether that means annexing in. Or we can discuss other options as well, but those are available on the counter, going over current Pierce County Library services, access with a library card, how to annex in, what is annexing, and who has Pierce County Library services currently. BNSF, we had a couple very successful meetings with them. They're gonna go ahead and forward over the correct documents that we are gonna need to enter into the lease process, where then they will give us the lease to review. So we have to go through this application before we can even get the lease to see what they're gonna charge, what specifications they're asking for. And other parameters involving that. And so it was a very open conversation, which was a pleasant change to what we have been experiencing previously, which was very hard to communicate with. Parks, I don't have any other updates other than, what I have provided to you, that the monies for the grant was already spent. You'll see those coming in the spring because our public works will be able to put up the security the security cameras. They were able to get the basketball hoop up. Chief and, Ryan were able to get out there and get that up. And, they will be working pretty hard to get the, barriers for the gravel put in soon. And then we do still have the 10K that we received from Pierce County for this year that we are working to get the Parks Committee together to figure out what projects that will go towards. Committees, boards, and council, Planning Commission was going to start working pretty hard to meet the deadlines required to fulfill the Commerce grant requirements. Those documents will now have to be sent to council for review and submission to complete that by June if we would like to keep our grant for $50,000. Crosswalk grant. We have already sent the funding allocation over to WASDOT for approval. Once they get back to us with an affirmative, we'll go ahead and send over the plan to BNSF, who will then review our plan and let us know whether they are going to allow us to use that, go over the easement that is allotted to us or not. If it is approved, we will go ahead and move forward with that grant. So wonderful, wonderful things moving forward with that crosswalk grant. The co-op grant, the community outdoor athletic facility, we are in the pre-application phase. We were approved for the preliminary, which is huge. Not everyone made it through that. We did, so now we are in the pre-application portion of it. We have $250K, which was mentioned for the Department of Commerce, which we have sent and received approval tonight to go ahead and move within that grant monies to work on planning and hopefully a little bit of execution for our water reservoir. Community events. Currently we have the meet and greet on April 17th in the old school gym, where Pierce County, Amy Kruger will be, and we have some representative staff coming as well. So very excited to have some special guests there. May 4th, we also have the Hometown Heroes 6 p.m.
18, okay.
Yep. May 4th, Hometown Heroes. Council, if you do plan on going to any of these events, please let me know. So that way, if we have a quorum there, we can announce it appropriately. May 4th, Hometown Heroes Cleanup Day, where Chief already spoke about having the 3 trash cans donated by LeMay. The park barbecue / event for our Hometown Heroes afterwards. So there has been a flyer submitted through the water bill. It's on our website. It's been posted around the city as well. If you need additional information, feel free to give us a call. We'll be happy to provide any information required for both of those events. Triple Nickel will be in attendance to the May 4th Hometown Heroes and Community Cleanup Day as volunteers. Had another meeting, 2 meetings with Nisqually Tribe, going over Muck Creek and what that project is going to look like and how we want it to move forward. Wonderful discussions. We have a couple in-person meetings happening that will be scoping out the muck and seeing kind of exactly what we're dealing with. And that project is in tandem with Bethel School District. And the kids they're very excited to get the kids involved in that. So water, we did receive the $300K from Representative, it was secured by Representative Barkis for us at this session. And the rate study was approved to go through with the acronym RCS. Was that correct? FCS group. There we go. Thank you. Lobbyists, we're not moving forward with at this time. Emergency preparedness, I have no other updates. We're still, Chief Antista and other staff members are still working very hard with Pierce County and, looking at how we can update our plans and being prepared for emergencies that may affect us. Jim, may I ask you to please leave the room for just 1 minute? I'm doing a rodeo update. It'll be literally just step out and then I'll say my baby and you can come right back. Gee, thanks. I'm still waiting to get contact from Mike Brown from the rodeo on their requested contract changes. Thank you, Jim. You can come back. That is the end of the mayor's update. Council, do you have any updates that you would like to provide?
I just want to thank our fire commissioner for that email and information. We did spoke, so we're referring to a CERT team. And I understand there's no funding right now, but it would be good for the community when that does come online and folks can get trained. So I thank you for that information.
And just an update, I know that we're, Amy Kruger also has helped us with some money from Pierce County that we're starting the process for that money, so he's got supplies.
Perfect. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Harvey. Appreciate that. Building permits?
The Easter egg hunt on Easter at the rodeo grounds was a great success, and we had more kids there than I think I've ever seen there. Much without a hitch. Kids were happy.
Glad to hear that. Thank you so much for providing that update. We have 2 building permits that were from the previous meeting that was canceled. Can I get a motion for those?
A motion to approve the building permits for Perez and Garcia.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hands. All indicate in favor. Both are approved. We have no additional matters, no executive session, so we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Do I have a second? Now, all in favor, hands please. All indicate in favor of adjourning the meeting. Thank you. Council members, can you stay to sign approval forms, please? And then, yeah, this one.